On the agenda is our weekly commission reports. Commissioner Moore.
Okay. I'm assuming everyone is enjoying this beautiful weather and had a wonderful 4th of July. This week I have on Tuesday a community services group and housing coalition meetings. That's 2 meetings. I have on Wednesday Hood Canal Communications after hours. On Thursday, Mason County Shelter open house. On Friday, an EDC event at the Court of Allen, and also Off the Walls ribbon cutting, another new great business. I hope everyone has had an opportunity to go shop. And that is it.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Olson.
Tomorrow I have a Mason Transit Authority Board meeting, and then the rest of the week I'm in Montana. So I'll miss all those events. So
Wow.
I'll be back by next Monday.
Sounds good. Tomorrow, Tuesday, I have a MACECOM board meeting. Wednesday, I'll also be attending the Hood Canal Telephone Company's open chamber after hours event. Thursday, I have a criminal justice meeting in the morning, and then I'll be attending also the shelter's open house. In the evening, I will have another criminal justice meeting, and then on, it looks like Friday, a ribbon cutting at the same art gallery that Commissioner Moore had mentioned. So, kind of a busy week. Looking forward to it. Next is an opportunity for a general public comment, and it appears we have someone that would like to speak to us tonight, and we encourage that. Thank you very much. Mr. Bob Shaw, would you like to come forward and speak?
I came here basically to listen to what you folks had to say. Like we said, my name is Bob Shaw. This is Arnie Abril. Anyway, I'm president of the Cemetery Association, and he's vice president of the Cemetery Association. And the cemetery, I feel, has made quite a bit of headway in the last few years. And a lot of that's attributed to a community member by the name of Lee Hatch. If you've been up around the cemetery, you find that there is electronic communications available to find and locate relatives at the cemetery. The fences have been straightened and new fences put in. A new gate has been installed. A lot of that is due to Mr. Lee Hatch. He was born and raised here in Shelton, and he's taken an interest in the cemetery. He's gone through the cemetery and inventoried all of the grave sites and documented the dates of death, birth, locations. It's on a computer. If you drive up, you can scan through alphabetically all the people that are buried at the cemetery. Some of that is the blessing of Simpson Timber Company or Green Diamond. I can't tell you which one it was particularly, but a number of years ago they made an offer for $5,000 worth of computers, and I signed that to Lee Hatch, and he's developed the computer system at the cemetery. And here just recently, if you were up there for Memorial Day, you notice some new flagpoles. A lot of this has been blessings of a man by the name of Lee Hatch. And some of my reasoning for feeling that I should be attending some of your meetings If you're familiar with cemeteries, the trend is to go into cremations rather than full burials. And that, of course, puts a crunch on the income on cemeteries. And so we have 15 plus acres up there right now that we're mowing, and I'd like to figure out a way to utilize that rather than paying staff to mow it and the wear and tear on equipment. And so I have a meeting tomorrow with someone from University of Washington about how to utilize the grounds up there, maybe generate hay if nothing else, but to try to generate something in the way of income and offset the wear and tear on our equipment. But we've got a good crew working up at the cemetery, the best I've seen at least, and we are part of this city, and we want to do what's best for our community. And I don't know what else to say. Have you any comments? Anyway.
Well, we can respond to what you're talking about a little bit. I appreciate both of your involvement in that. And I'm not really up to speed on exactly the relationship between the cemetery and the city is. It's not something that's really something I have studied or is in my privy here. But the 15 acres, is that total land mass of the cemetery grounds? Is that some?
We have 43 acres there.
Okay, yeah.
And when I went on the cemetery board, probably somewhere around 2002 or somewhere in that general area, I couldn't find out from the county assessor's office whether we were in the city or in the county. And the way I ended up finding out was I filed a complaint about rates for storm drains. And it wasn't dealt with in a timely fashion. And so I filed a letter, and I got the opportunity to speak. And we were being charged something like $400 per storm drain, and there are no storm drains in the area. And they were charging us $400 for each of the water meters, is the way I understood it anyway. And that was reduced by about a half. But in that process, I was presented with a measure that was enacted in evidently 1995, where the cemetery was annexed, and the piece of property across the bypass that belonged to John Nealon, that 1,500 acres, was all annexed at one time, leaving an island with the Mankey home, her original home, still in the county. But that's how I found out that we were in the city. And once I got a copy of that, then I took it to the assessor's office and gave them a copy so they would know whether we were in the city or in the county. So
is there something specific that you were asking of the city or wanting the city to respond to, or you're just coming to kind of just be here and just kind of see what we're doing?
Just to see basically, what's going on in the city.
All right.
So.
Well,
I have worked with both of you gentlemen in the past when you were applying to be on the Shelton's Historic Register for the cemetery. So I remembered that you are in the city, and it's nice to see you again and let you know that we appreciate the beautiful cemetery and the good work that you're doing. And that is such a valuable service. Wasn't aware that you had all of the cataloging and the inventory and the names available for families to find who is actually there and where their ancestors are buried. So that's great to know. Thank you.
It helps very much. And there's 2 locations, one on the new office and one on the old office as far as that's concerned. But yes, we'd like to have water. And when I went on the board initially, I talked with the folks in Olympia out on Martin Way about water, and I was trying to find out if there were any water rights that the original people at the cemetery might have gotten, and I could not find any. And at that time, they told me they weren't interested in dealing with Mason County for maybe 10 more years. The next time I went back, I was basically told that it wasn't an issue that could really be discussed. So yes, we'd like to have water, but the plumbing up there is not suited to handle water. It'd take a major overhaul of the plumbing and then, of course, a source for water. But
Are you talking about irrigation for the water? For plumbing?
I'm sorry. I'm of the age where I don't hear that well.
Okay. Are you talking about irrigation?
I would like to be able to irrigate, yes. I see facilities getting water during the summer, and I would like to be able to do the same at the cemetery. But it's too costly, quite frankly. So,
All right.
Wasn't there an attempt a few years back to form a district?
yes, they did.
And that failed, correct? That's where you were going to try to have a source of revenue from, sort of like our Parks District? The self-taxing thing amongst the community?
I would like the cemetery to stay as it is as far as that's concerned. I would like to see it pay its own way. I don't really like to see it put on a burden on the public. So I'm not for forming a cemetery district. And yes, the cemetery had the good fortune of receiving a nice donation to help support it. And that is, my understanding is there's a number of us that could contribute through our tax. You could write it off as far as making donations to the cemetery. And we've had the good fortune of some that did that. So,
All right, well, we do appreciate you coming in, and come back again. This is kind of a slow night tonight, so we have had plenty of chance to have a good discussion with you. And what I'll do is sometime when I'm driving up the hill, I'll come over and check it out.
be glad to have you.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, have my fellow commissioners had time to review their consent agenda? And if
Yes.
so, could we please have a reading of the consent agenda?
Consent agenda. Vouchers numbered 83644 through 83733 in the amount of $692,427.39. Transfer and banking fees in the amount of $11,826.87. Manual warrant numbered 83642 in the amount of $2,958.67 to KeyBank. Commission meeting minutes from business meeting of June 23, 2014, and study session of June 30th, 2014. Resolution number 1068-0714, a resolution of the City of Shelton, Washington regarding a petition to vacate a portion of Madison Street that abuts parcel numbers 42013-45-00300 and 42013-52 42013-02009 and 42013-52-02008 and 42013-52-02006 and 42013-45-60330, Callahan Park. Project Management Consultant Services, Jerome W. Morissette Associates Incorporated, contract ending December 31st, 2016. Authorize the mayor to sign when returned from contractor.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I second that motion, but I had some discussion.
Any further discussion?
Yes. I'm still a little unclear on the vacation of a portion of Madison Street. And I know there were some questions as far as access, and it looks like David knows my questions.
I spoke to Mike Michael about that. The action only establishes a public hearing. It does not take final action on that. So we need to, boy, this is getting some feedback here. Okay, maybe that's better.
Put it next to her.
Whoa. At any rate, it moved it, we'll be taking it up later for final action. And before then, Mike has promised me that he would have an answer to the question that I had asked, I think last week or the week before on that. So.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The consent agenda passes. Being a fairly short evening tonight, there is no old business at this time, no new business at this time. Next would be an administration report by our city administrator, Mr. Dave O'Leary.
Just a couple of things. Beginning to work on preparing for our budget and for the 2015 budget. This is the time of year when we typically do that. Public Works Department is deeply engaged at this point, as they are. I'll be preparing budget instructions and the calendar is already kind of roughed in. We'll be finalizing that. So we're just at the beginning of the process now. Also, just continue to work on the Sewer Coalition. Amanda continues to do a good job. We have based on our work up in Spokane, we went into that with 41 stakeholders. We now have 51. So, and I'm not sure what the breakdown is for cities and counties, but nevertheless, we just added 10 more stakeholders to our list. So we'll continue to build that. Amanda had some ideas for getting other people involved, and those are just cities that we're talking about. So, anyhow, again, she's helping us.
And in piggybacking onto that, I have met with all three of our representatives and senators here, Drew McEwen, Tim Sheldon, and Kathy Haag, and it appears they're all in favor and on board with helping us with the coalition and what we're trying to do. So we're still interviewing and talking to other key people in the state, including the possibility of the governor, and we'll just keep moving forward because it seems to be an issue that other cities are struggling with, and it kind of came on out of the recession, and so I think it's something that needs to be addressed, and so I'm looking forward to a positive response to that. Now, at this time, did that conclude your report? We have another opportunity for general public comment. If anyone else would like to speak, now would be the opportunity. If not, then we have administration final touches already.
Just what's on the purple sheet. That's on the purple sheet, Your Honor.
Purple sheet? Very good. Our next meeting will be our regular meeting next Monday, July 14th at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.